everyone, Anita here and welcome to another video. This video is part 3 of 3. In part 1 we were discussing ways to prepare for a 30-day drawing challenge. In part 2 I talked about possible problems you can encounter based on just my experience. And now, Inktober 2021 has just ended as of recording this video just a couple of days ago. And so in this part, I would like to talk about the things to do after the challenge ends. Now, finishing a challenge like that will mean something different for everyone. So I thought really hard about what to include in this video. I will cover some self-care and time management techniques that I personally use, as well as some ways to boost up productivity. Before the disclaimer, a little note. I'm having a cold. It's nothing bad, but I can definitely feel I'm struggling with talking properly, so just bear that in mind. And the disclaimer, again, the same thing as in the previous videos. Just because I said that something works doesn't mean that it will work for you, right? Everyone is different. Everyone will need a different approach. The way you find out that something works for you is by trying it. If it works, fantastic. If it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. You just find another approach, you try it, rinse, repeat, all that jazz. Eventually you will find something that works for you. That I absolutely promise. The purpose of this video is to show you different situations and, illustrate them with my own experiences. Yeah, that's pretty much it. End of disclaimer. Also, as with previous parts, I have timestamps and little TLDR sections, so to speak, for those who are, impatient, so you're welcome. So as I've said, Inktober has ended. Congratulations, everyone. We've managed to go through it. Make sure to let me know in the comment section how it went for you. I'm really curious, as mine went nothing like I planned. In fact, if you watched my previous video, I came to a lot of conclusions by simply thinking about ink. I've decided very early on that I wouldn't do a daily challenge. I just wasn't in the mindset for that. I thought about doing a weekly challenge, but I realized that I didn't enjoy the painting process. And so I started thinking, about why that is. Why is that? Why am I not enjoying the process of painting? I painted 2 A4 illustrations in black and white. The first one is available on YouTube, and the other one is the monthly sort of long process video that I do for my Patreon. While trying to make a third one, I just couldn't. Something was bothering me. I didn't know what. I did a lot of thinking about it. I generally think a lot. And so I've decided to start focusing only on the parts of the painting process that I enjoyed. Only on the mediums that I enjoyed. Hence my very long video and thoughts on watercolors. Now, for example, I completely forgot how much I enjoyed using soft pastels. I'm still experimenting with that. I'm figuring out how I want to paint now, and it will probably take me, a while. The background footage you see right now is actually one of those experimental paintings, and you will probably see a lot more in the future because I'm recording all of them. So I don't really need any rest after Inktober. However, if you did a daily challenge, the first thing you should do is relax and give yourself a day or two for just doing fun stuff, other hobbies, or simply just doing nothing. Don't underestimate the power of doing nothing. Doing nothing is very hard to do, actually. When your entire daily routine revolves around one task, your body gets used to it, like really quickly, and doing anything else becomes hard. In my case, it also creates, feelings of guilt. I feel guilty if I don't do anything. And once again, this will be different for everyone, but as a general rule of thumb, take a day or two after any longer period of work. You know, that's what we got weekends for, technically, at least most of us. In fact, self-care is not only, you know, candles and spa and meditation, you know, any form of relaxation is self-care. For me, sometimes self-care means doing chores because cluttery surrounding is really not relaxing. Other times I just want to be left alone and mindlessly scroll through Instagram because I don't want to think about anything and I just want to be bored. Yeah, it's very hard to talk about these things in general terms. Nothing general ever worked for me, and I always need to adjust things to my own needs. So, for example, we go back to Inktober 2017. I finished it later than I expected, and I didn't give myself any proper rest afterwards. I just went straight to, you know, the next part of my plan. I definitely should have, but like I should have rested, but in 2017, self-care wasn't even in my vocabulary yet. What I had at the time was a pile of 31 paintings that I needed to scan. Then the scans needed to be edited and then placed both as a print on Redbubble and the originals I wanted to put in my Etsy store. I had to make descriptions for them, photos, you know, all that jazz. It had me reeling. I was so overwhelmed by the sheer amount of work that my brain just couldn't, you know, comprehend it. It just short-circuited. I couldn't. I tried just, you know, going at it. But, you know, when you sit down doing something, especially something big, and it can be anything, like projects, any kind of homeworks, work projects, seriously, anything bigger, you know how sometimes you just end up browsing social media or just reading or watching random stuff. You know, my attention span was so tiny, minuscule, that when I have a giant pile of stuff to do, I just don't know what to do about it. And especially when there's no deadline, that's even worse. If you just have your own projects with no deadline, for me, that's just, it means it will be put away over and over again because it's so scary to just start it. The amount of work is so huge. And by chance, I stumbled upon Jennifer Charles. It's another fellow artist. She mentioned about working with a timer. And at the time, I had no idea what a Pomodoro technique was. But in a nutshell, it's a technique designed to improve your focus and to minimize, you know, interruptions, like both from you, so like they call it internal and external. Pomodoro means, I believe, tomato in Italian, and it was named after like one of those tomato-shaped timers that the inventor of the technique, he used it at the time. So the original technique, I'm talking about in general terms. If you want to know more, do your own research. This is just like a little summary, I guess. So the original technique, it calls for 25-minute blocks or so-called pomodoros, and then it's followed by a 5-minute break. After 4 pomodoros, you will take a longer break of around 30 minutes or so. And during one of such pomodoros, you focus only on one task. You don't switch until the pomodoro is over. So that really saved me. It works so well for me. Of course, I adapted it to my own needs because after that, Inktober in 2017, I used a 20-minute timer. 15 minutes seems a little bit too short, and then 30 too long. Like I said, I didn't know the original back then, but it's still, I feel my timer of 20 minutes, it fits me better. It just seems more doable. And after the timer ended, I had it always on my phone. After the timer ended, I would restart it and immediately switch tasks. So, for example, I would do 20 minutes of editing and then switch to something different. So, for example, 20 minutes of writing descriptions. then 20 minutes of scanning, so it's like a completely different task, and then maybe 20 minutes of taking photos. In that 20 minutes, I focused only on that one task and nothing else. Completely nothing else. It just became almost like a game to me. You know, how many pictures I can scan in 20 minutes? How much can I edit in 20 minutes? Can I do better during the next rotation? I would also mark those 20 minutes down so I knew exactly how long I was busy with each task. And of course, I didn't take any breaks because I was an idiot. Let's just call it like we see it. I would do this for, let's say, good 6 to 7 hours non-stop, okay? Then I would eat dinner, at least that. And then I would do some more in the evening, okay? No breaks, no resting. I was super happy about it because I got results, you know? I really was going through that work quickly. However, I became so, I don't know how to explain it. It was almost like hyper-focused, and I couldn't relax enough to just sleep normally. So for 3 days, I would battle insomnia. I couldn't sleep. I would just throw myself around. My brain was constantly going crazy. And after those 3 days, of course, I found a way to help myself, you know, sleep. I tried all different ways to battle insomnia, and finally doing simple leg lifts worked for me because apparently it redirects the blood from your brain to your legs, and that kind of I use it to this day because I'm asleep in like 20 seconds, so it's a perfect solution for me. But yeah, it was not ideal. Nowadays, because I still use it, nowadays I'm more mindful of relaxing in the evening, and I don't have any problems with insomnia anymore. I use these techniques when I feel overwhelmed or want to focus on my tasks in a more easier way. It really, really works for my way of working. I have to say I even adjusted it to other things. I hate cleaning, and every time I clean, it seems like I'm doing it forever. Literally, it seems like hours, and I'm busy for maybe 20 minutes. So I set the alarm for 1 hour, and I clean for 1 hour. I only clean for 1 hour. And it might seem seems much longer to me, but I know that I have an alarm set for 1 hour, so there's no way I'm cleaning more than that. So yeah, works for me. It's like, again, I'm repeating it all the time because I feel like I have to. It might not work for you. Look for different things that work for you. Adapt to them. There is a way for everyone, okay? Another trick that works wonders for me, especially when I have problems with starting. One of my biggest hurdles really in my life is that I will sit for hours and negotiate with myself to start doing something. I'm pretty sure a lot of you will feel the same at some point in your life. You know, we all have problems. That one is mine. So I have come with some ways to help myself. One of them is to go and work somewhere else. I have noticed that I'm much more productive in a different environment than I am at home, simply because at home I have more things to distract me from fun things, you know, like, let's say, books and games and hobbies, to even the most boring ones like chores. Yeah, I will do chores if the alternative is doing something that I'm dreading to start. I believe it's called productive procrastination. Yeah, and it's no joke. It's very dangerous stuff, guys. But outside, there are no chores and no distractions. So you will have no other choice but to focus on the task at hand. However, if it's hard to go out, because that's another one of my problems, sometimes it's just, you know, you have to put clothes on and just go out. So much easier to just stay in your pajamas. One of the dangers of working from home, you just want to stay all day in your pajamas. But if I have that problem, I will ask my boyfriend to drop me off somewhere, because then the road there seems a little bit more manageable, because then it becomes an appointment. In fact, organizing a work date is, a good idea as well. Set up a meeting with a friend who wants some company, and you can work together, either online or offline. I mean, we have a great thing going with like apps like Zoom or Google Meets or even Skype, that creates an appointment for you. And once again, it might not work for everyone. Keep that in mind. But meeting with someone like that and working together, it's not a chat date, it's a working date. So you both do your own things. Maybe it can be even a bigger group, who knows? But think about what environment allows you to focus best, and under what circumstances you get in the best work mode, let's say. Like which environment allows you to work the easiest, and try to replicate that on purpose. But nothing is really foolproof. It's almost 2022, guys, and I still did not make that witchy art book thingy from the illustrations of Inktober 2017 like I was planning to. Yeah, so I'm a little bit sad about that. I still hope it will come one day. Who knows? I have the illustrations, like half of the work is there. But yeah, I think that's it for this video, guys. Good luck with your future challenges. I hope you got some inspiration from these videos. And same as in the previous videos, if you have questions or suggestions or different ideas or on self-care or boosting your work focus or even scheduling, I still did not find a good way to schedule things because planners and calendars do not work for me. Makes me sad. So there is still a lot of room to improve, and I'm always looking for new ideas. So I love reading how different people are approaching the same problem. Because, you can try it yourself then. Thank you so very much for watching. If you have any other things that you're interested in, making maybe a series out of, let me know and I'll get on that. So I'm gonna go and do some chores. Bye, guys!